EliteAri, your interest in this show is fucking dead! Am I right?
Sorry, kind of. Before this episode, yeah, the episode kind of got me a little more interested.
Aww.
I was very much like, yeah, like between last episode and this episode, I was like, man, I really am not looking forward to this episode. I didn't watch any reaction videos, which is very atypical for me. I was just not very invested, but this episode, it won me over. I'm invested in. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, they traveled a lot, and that was like good.
I
So I'm, like,
also think this. First of all, there was no traveling in The Last of Us Part 2, which is interesting. Second of all, I too like this episode, but I've liked all the episodes. Every episode of this show ever has gotten an 8 out of 10. Quote, 8 out of 10. Oh, EliteAri, would you like to hear my alternative intro?
Yes, go.
EliteAri, last time the battery fucking died. I feel like we should address this for our long-time viewers in case they didn't see my comment or something underneath where I was making fun of us for going flat. But it went flat after we had done the outro, so that's okay. We were basically done anyway. This episode, EliteAri, I got my physical notes here, 4 pages long. So, we're going to be 2 pages in when this one goes flat, unless we speed through this. But, EliteAri has to comment on things, so I'll prompt him. Not very many prompts for EliteAri today, but we'll figure it out. We'll make him speak somehow. Speaking of which, I was pretty excited. I'm still pretty excited for the show, Even though I was, in reflecting on last episode, sometimes it made me angry, And I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and that always influences your, your opinions, how harsh you want to be when people are being positive, or even saying that it's better than the game, and you want to punch them, EliteAri. But, you gotta maintain zen, EliteAri. Or do you? Who cares? I will say going into this, and I figured this out in the middle of the week, I was like, oh my god, watching The Last of Us Season 2 and Season 1 is the exact same feeling as watching House of the Dragon for me, because I know what's happening, and I'm just like, oh, are they going to do this scene this episode? And that's like a lot of the intrigue. And I'm like, oh, EliteAri doesn't have any of that intrigue for any of these shows.
Nope.
They're also both binge shows, even though neither of them are on Binge anymore, the great Australian streaming service that I guess has nothing now. So I guess there's a bunch of similarities, and I realized that when I was doing something this week, and I was like, wow, what a profound thing for me and me alone. But it is interesting.
True.
I guess I am much more, and because I was thinking about the appeal of our videos here, and I'm like, House of the Dragon is like a fake version of this, because I actually have played this game, and I know everything about it, whereas House of the Dragon, I just read the shitty Wikipedia and pretend I know everything. And, in these ones, I can give insight, and I know how everything, I'll be like, this little thing you changed here, and, you can't get this expertise anywhere else, EliteAri. Except you probably can.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of in your House of the Dragon position here, where I've never played the game. I've only ever watched The Last of Us.
True, you're a wiki warrior for this one. You just watched a YouTube video. Crazy. Me too, don't worry. My wiki/Preston Jacobs watching has got us to our House of the Dragon. Now, Duncan Egg coming out later this year. Everybody stick around. We'll make EliteAri do that one too. Only 6 episodes, I hear, EliteAri. An easy commitment. Now, I have an overall thing. Besides, we kind of just said we liked it, so we don't have much else. But EliteAri, I think this episode was about lying.
Okay.
It was brought up a few times, and a lot of the times you're made to question whether or not the characters are lying. And a lot of the times I angrily wrote down notes, and then I was like, why are you writing down notes? Obviously, Ellie's lying in this hospital scene. And then I felt like an idiot when they revealed it right afterwards. And I was like, well, that paragraph's a little wasted. There's also a therapist and Tommy scene about lying. It's also a question on whether or not Seth is lying when he sticks up for them. There's a question about whether or not Dina is lying in separate situations. So, we'll keep lying in mind as we continue throughout. Oh, EliteAri, I never looked up what the title of the episode was. I bet you don't know, so I'm going to have to find it.
Episode 3.
True, but the last 2, remember, have been songs. And I was going to see if that motif continued through. But while I do this, you're going to tell us your favorite scene from the episode.
The scene where they're in the tent talking to each other before they go to sleep.
Oh my god, true. But we're not going to talk about that yet, EliteAri. Episode 3. Nope, that just says recap. You piece of shit Google search. How about you give me the goddamn...
Oh my god, you want me to find it?
No, I'm on the path.
Is that a song? That's probably a song.
That could definitely be a song. I don't know, though. Now, Wiki's being laggy, so it's not letting me click on it. Okay, I'm not going to read this whole fucking thing. We got to get this show on the road, EliteAri. This episode was filmed in April of 2024. Crazy. The writers wanted it to follow Jackson and pay respect. Oh, this is There's a
I
bunch
know
of
something about this.
Oh well, there.
Wait, I
Go ahead.
Go ahead, and then I'll.
Well, I'm gonna say there's a big
my
Wikipedia
theory.
page on the whole thing about like the production behind the scenes. And I'm like, how the fuck do we know all this already? Oh, it's from the shitty behind the scenes.
Oh.
We're gonna explain it for 10 minutes after the episode where Game of Thrones thing that we do on shitty HBO
Wait, there's
shows.
a wiki
which pisses me
for
off.
like just for this episode. There's like a wiki.
Well, there's a
thing?
wiki page on Wikipedia for just this.
Not
episode.
Wikipedia. That's crazy. Okay. Oh
They
my
do
God, I
that
didn't
for like
know they did,
Mad Men
per
episodes, but only
episode.
certain ones. That is true. Usually it's just season. I'll link it to you so you know I'm not lying. EliteAri always thinks I'm lying. I clicked on his dumb Discord server thinking it was him.
Oh.
But I guess you could fill it in, or maybe that somebody on the media team for them fills it in, so you can look it over.
Probably, yeah.
That's funny. Cool beans.
Anyway, big news. Oh my God, this episode was directed by the same director that directed the pilot episode of the latest season of Doctor Who. Oh my goodness, pretty crazy.
I think the last one was directed by the Hard Home guy. We said that last time. I can
I don't even remember that.
You're lame.
That can't
you
be
like
right.
Both
There's no way
things.
that's right. I'm pretty sure that's not right because last time it was directed, like the Hard Home guy was the guy who is the showrunner for House
Mark
of Dragon Season
Malloy.
1.
Let's look him up over here.
No, that's absolutely not the guy who directed Hard Home. I can promise you.
Well, then
that.
why were we talking about Hard Home? Somebody.
Because
Oh
they were
no,
like, it's
because the
inspired by
writer on the
Hard Home or
Wikipedia page said he wanted it to be like Hard Home. I remember now.
Yeah.
Because we had the wiki page up last time too. Now, why the fuck is it searching through Yahoo again? I hate this fucking dumb computer. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. While I try and fix it in the background, I'll introduce the first scene and let EliteAri yap. We start EliteAri with the aftermath of the carnage shots. True. I don't know, it was crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And Joel is dead on a desk, and you're supposed to recognize him through his trusty watch. And then I thought, is EliteAri going to recognize the dumb watch? And our general audience is going to recognize the dumb watch, because this is a big thing in like the Last of Us fandom, but I feel like this was on screen in the show for like a scene and a half. So EliteAri, did you recognize it?
So I can say that, firstly, I obviously knew it was Joel because his brother was like there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this
True.
must be Joel because the brother's there. It makes sense.
You got it
know?
through context, but not through the context they
And then-
wanted you to get
firstly, then they showed the watch and it was broken. And I'm like, oh, like, I guess he had a watch and it broke like during the fight or something. But then I remembered, no, his daughter gave
Yeah,
him
it's
a
the
watch at the
daughter
beginning,
watch.
right?
Yes.
But how did it break? Did we see it break?
No,
at
it
some
broke.
point?
It
I don't
just
remember
broke in
that.
like the time skip. Well, first of all, it was broken and she
Okay.
fixed it for him, and then for his birthday.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, I
Same-
remember it. Okay, I remember
Same
the
in
watch.
both story and show. There was just this Asian girl cleaning bodies, but then she went out when Tommy was here, so Tommy could clean Joel's body. EliteAri has no respect for bodies. How come this comes up every discussion
Yeah,
we do
why are
right
they
now?
cleaning it?
EliteAri?
It's a bit strange, but
Well,
I mean,
people
it is what
clean
it
bodies.
is.
This is like a big thing in
Yeah, in our
most
society.
societies.
My
Oh,
goodness.
like why
I
would
don't know
they
about
waste
the
time in
zombie
this?
society. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's respectful and you know, and it's a
waste of
loving
effort.
ritual.
When they're complaining about it, they're still recovering. They don't have time for this. They're like, oh, we can't go out. We can't send people because we're still like, we're on
Maybe
the
this
edge of,
was
like,
their downtime,
destruction here.
EliteAri, you know? I mean, there was just one
Maybe.
girl in there. There were a lot of bodies. She was working through them slowly. Maybe she is scared of whatever else they have to do. Rebuilding the fence, okay? Leave her alone.
True.
An interesting part is we never see Tommy's reaction to hearing the news, which is kind of interesting. Which I guess is the same as the game, but I guess I was kind of looking forward to that when they were dragging the body back last time.
Yeah.
I feel like me saying last time has rejigged a memory that I can't remember in my head, where I was like, I wonder. Oh, it comes later, EliteAri. Never mind. You'll understand later. Until I forget it. Do audience members recognize the watch? There was a bad line here that I didn't like, EliteAri, where he said to the body, he said, "Give Sarah my love," and I thought that was a little corny. What did you think?
Oh my god, I thought that I had to rewind that 4 times to understand what he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I got it. But
Just
yeah,
because it was hard to
not good.
understand, or because you?
I thought it was. It was hard to understand. I thought it was
Oh.
saying like, "Oh, I love you," or like, "Give me your love," or something like that. I'm like, "What's he going on about?" I figured.
You didn't remember Sarah was that little girl's name, huh?
You know what? I'll never know now, but I feel like I probably knew. But now I not heard it's poisoned my
True.
memory now. I don't know.
We will never know. Crazy. Ellie screaming and stuff. Did you like that?
No, not at all. But it's
Yeah,
fine.
neither
Like
did
all the Ellie stuff bothers me a lot in this. I think she was better toward the latter half, but I think throughout the season she's bothered me. And I think it is just
You hate women.
She just
And non-binary
looks too
people.
young to me. That's the thing. She looks like she still looks young. It's like annoying.
After when she first of all, who gives a fuck? You're an idiot. Second of all,
Yeah.
true. I kind of agree. Third of all, she kind of looked older when she was walking through the house, right?
That's true. Yeah, at some point she does look older. Yeah. But at other points she doesn't. It's like a bit of a thing, a bit annoying. But it's fine. It doesn't bother me that much.
She does. I don't know. Her default personality is very different to Game Ellie, and it is very like teenage. Like it is early teenager sort of like self-aware, funny kookiness. I don't know. Maybe that plays into it. Who knows? But I didn't like the screaming either, and the crying and the stuff. There was a very good cry later though, so I mean, sometimes I'm not a hater, EliteAri. I don't just hate all the crying scenes. Oh, why are you laughing when I said I wasn't a hater, huh, pussy?
I believe you. I have something to hate on here, which is not gonna. It's not a hating thing. You're gonna explain to me why this is the case. Okay?
Oh yes, I love these moments.
And you're gonna love it because it's like a lore thing, like basically why. The zombies or whatever. What do they call them in this again? The infected.
The infected, the clickers, the runners, the stalkers, the bloaters,
that's it. That's the best one.
shamblers.
The clickers is the best term.
That's the that's the one.
Whatever. The zombies. They come in. They attack everyone. Why is everyone in hospital now? I don't get. How would they hurt you without like infecting you?
Seth got hit with friendly fire. He says, and you could have fallen off the wall or something, or you could have banged your head when you fell off the roof when they were running at you.
But like. That's a lot of people. You know what? I buy it. You convinced me. That's enough. Okay, yeah, people fell off and
there's no hospital in Jackson, first of all, so that was weirding me out a little bit. But I guess it makes sense. I don't know. In my imagination of the game, there's like one doctor, and he has like it's like the therapist, where it's just in his house, and you go and you see him. That actually did bother me. I don't know why. It's probably stupid. We see a hospital with the wolves later, and that's completely fine. But they live in a fucking stadium, EliteAri. Get real, and they operate out of a hospital. Also, Ellie's like ribs were broken, assumingly, and that's why she had to spend 3 months in hospital. So I guess we should probably get into that, where it's my big thing here that says 3 months later. I assume this didn't really matter to you, but it's kind of big.
Well, the only reason it mattered to me was like, oh, I don't understand. Why is she in hospital for 3 months? I was like, oh,
he got kicked. I literally opened the last episode and was like, did they stab her or something? But no, she just got kicked once. But I guess, realism or something. If I kicked you once, EliteAri, all your ribs would be broken. I'm just so strong.
Maybe, yeah.
Fly kick.
Or maybe the whole time I was like, oh, maybe they think she's gonna like kill herself, but then I was just like, there was a lot of physical tests and stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe not. I have no idea.
There was a bit of psychological testing, but we're not up to that yet, EliteAri. Oh, first of all, I have a note on the intro, EliteAri. I bet you don't even watch the intro.
Sometimes I do. Today I skipped it.
At the end of the intro, it usually brings up two figures, like, looking, but there was only one because Joel's dead, EliteAri. Isn't that cute?
Wow. That is very good.
It's deep. And then I had a thought, EliteAri. I'm like, will it change for the Abby episodes? For the Abby episodes, are there going to be like 5 people there? And it's going to be like, oh, there's no way we're having an episode about these fucking losers. I don't know. That would be
Wait, you think it's going to be an Abby episode? Like, where it's like just Abby?
Yeah, probably next season, I think. It'll be a lot of them.
That's crazy. Okay, it's going to be interesting.
Lev ain't in any of those trailers, EliteAri. We're saving him for next time. Next season. What's that trailer going to look like, Oh, I guess I should also say I still really haven't engaged with a lot of proper discourse from last time, especially from people who hadn't seen it. I did see, like, everybody on all the shows I watched talk about this have all played the game, but they all did say that their parents watched it and they said, well, why would I watch this show anymore? That happened like twice, so that means everybody. So that's very funny. I want to see if the viewership declined massively because they killed the great man off. Who knows, EliteAri? Probably not. That's probably not how viewership statistics work. It would probably take a little bit. I bet the next season premiere. But yeah, maybe the season when we get the trailer for the next one and it's just Abby stuff, and then that's when everybody stops watching. Anyway. Also, can you think about all the annoying YouTubers that are going to gloat when Abby kills this poor show? Unbelievable. Like she killed that poor man. EliteAri, can you believe it? 3 months later, Ellie had broken ribs, ? True, I just answered that. Note taken, moron. Therapist lady. Ellie is outwardly the same. Now, this was written in angry tones, EliteAri, because I'm like, Ellie's being a silly girl here. She shouldn't be a silly girl ever again. The silly girl got killed off that day. But she's lying, and we see this as she walks away, EliteAri. She's mad again. So she was just pretending to get out of the hospital.
Did you write down one of her lies, which I wrote down?
I have a few things written down. Say your ones first.
It's so bad that if she's not lying,
it has to be. Oh no.
Position.
Oh no.
Okay, ready? She said, "Your final moment with someone shouldn't define your whole time with them." I was like, man, why? This is like so out of character for Ellie, and like not even character-wise, just like the delivery was like really bad.
Well, yeah, she was lying.
But I assume it's lying. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
Now, I thought you were going to go with an actual bad line that she has here, which continues on from some bad lines we complained about last time, where she just was explaining her relationship with Joel and the conclusion we're supposed to come to. She did that last time, and then she did it here again when she said, "I miss him. He meant a lot to me." And I was like, thanks, show. Yep. I sure do understand that now. And then she reiterates that she didn't talk to him on the porch, and that like, oh, it would suck if that last memory, if I regret talking to him forever. But EliteAri, this just reaffirmed to me that she definitely did talk to him on the porch, and we will get that flashback later. So oh, you're mocking me.
No, it's just funny because when I was watching that, when she said that, I was like, "Oh, this is the thing Kyle was talking about." That's like the only thought that went through my mind. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if that means it's gonna happen or not, but yeah, it's crazy."
Well, everything else she was lying in this scene, so it's crazy. Hey, this idiot in the notes finally clawed up here when he has dash lying ? What a genius. There was another line here because I didn't write down all these lines, but there is an interesting implication in this scene of like how she feels about things. But obviously, in my big recontextualization rant in the first one we did, my whole point was that, how does this tie into this? I just forgot everything at once, EliteAri. Can you believe it? The point is that she regrets not making good with Joel before he died, and that's why she's actually really mad. And she seems self-aware of that in a joking way, which could just mean she's just trying to hide it well, and she actually does feel that way. Or it could mean that in the show she doesn't really feel that way. So I guess I'm internally mad about that, EliteAri. Because I would be changing my favoriteest scene. Anyway, we talk about this every week, and there wasn't too much inside here, so we can move on. Oh, and then she says, "I wish I could have let him off the hook." Maybe that was literally the line I was searching for, and I actually did write it down. Which obviously she kind of did, which doesn't really fit into the lying motif here, where everything she says is like the opposite is true. And also, the therapist lets her leave, but then later she explains that she thinks Ellie's a liar in all regards. So that's a much more interesting scene we'll get to later. Oh, and then I wrote down here, is it possible she doesn't know? And then I was like, there is a scene right before she kills Nora, where Nora like basically questions like, do you even know what he did? Like she tries to appeal to Ellie of like, if you knew what he did, you wouldn't be killing us. But obviously Ellie does know, and she doesn't care. And die, bitch, is what she does, as she hits her with the fucking pipe. And then Nora sells out Abby. Oh my goodness, but it's off screen. Screen. EliteAri, not stream. So good. What a great video game. And then I was like, is she going to find out there when that happened? That would be a little bit more dramatic, and then we could have some more internal conflict when that happens. That could literally be the last scene in the last episode, maybe. But then I remembered in the trailer, she is confronting who seems to be Joel in a younger looking outfit, where she says, "You swore." So I think she definitely already knows. So if I hadn't seen the trailer, I could speculate all about this, but now it's saving us from that speculation. So does that mean that getting spoiled by the trailer is good, or should we just not get spoiled by trailers, EliteAri? Who knows? What a philosophical question very relevant to our times. Anyway, that was that scene. You got anything else to say about the therapist scene before I move to the next one?
It was a bit rough to get through, but it was good. Actually, I wouldn't say it was good. It was okay.
It was okay. Music I have written in all caps here, so they played a song from the game, I believe. And this is where we pan over Joel's memoriam. It's very cute. There's a lot of letters and stuff. I don't know why. That sort of imagery does get to me sometimes. It does happen in the game, and I'm like, oh, that's so sad. Look at all the notes. It's like a vigil and stuff. You see that on the news sometimes. Aww. How sad.
Yeah,
But
I think the more interesting thing is that like to other people, Joel is like this figure or whatever, but
yes,
that's Ellie's house.
it's much more
Yeah.
interesting to me in the game because in the show, he's like a builder guy. So, of course, he knows everybody. And he has this relationship even with Dina. And Dina says that she loved him too in this episode. Whereas in the game, you very much. And this is kind of the case for everything in the game. And I have a note on this somewhere where it's becoming very apparent. And I guess this was apparent even in season 1. That, like, the game is a very small scale. It really is about, like, 7 or 8 characters across, like, both games. I nearly said all the games. Like, there was, like, 7. I guess Uncharted is like that too, where it's like about 5 characters really for all the games. There are side characters, like we meet Sam and Henry, but it's not really about them. Whereas we're making everything much grander. We're fleshing out Jackson a lot more to have a council and all this stuff, and we're having Seth be more than just a bit player and all this stuff. And I think I guess it's just a general taste thing of like, do you want it to be ambiguous so you can fill in the details and have everything sort of exist preferentially in the back of your mind, or do you want to be confronted and with this stuff and have it all fleshed out and get all the answers that you could possibly wonder about or something? The answer is it's probably whatever you like more or whatever you saw first, but it's definitely 2 different approaches. But with Joel, in the game, there is also Vigil. I don't think it's as big as this. I don't know if Vigils is the right word, EliteAri. There's cards and flowers and stuff outside his front gate. It's like, Joel like must have had an impact on these people's lives. That's like really interesting. Whereas in the show, it's like, well, he was building shit. You know, everybody loved the great Joel. He was just over here yapping, and he had a pencil behind his ear. And you know, you gotta love the man with the pencil behind his ear, EliteAri. But anyway. This is a bit of good crying, EliteAri, because it wasn't audible. Ellie's just sort of crying to herself, and she does the famous from the video game. She walks through his house very slowly. You get to walk through Joel's house after he dies. You see all his weird horses everywhere and his cowboy paintings, and you find the box on the bed with all of his prized possessions in it, his watch, his old gun, and like some sort of fabric. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's very sad when you get it in the game and Ellie looks at it for a long time. And then she goes over and she smells the jacket, which is a very relatable, like, smelling, like, somebody's fucking dead and they smell a certain way and you'll never smell that smell again, but you can momentarily while it's still in their clothes, etc., etc. And she does a cry and she's crying into it and it's so sad and it was so quiet, EliteAri. And I was like, this is the goodest crying I ever saw in this show. You didn't care. You thought these were crocodile tears.
No, there was too much liquid in that first tear. It happened too quickly. Fell down too much. I was like, that's
it was a
unrealistic.
lot. It was a lot of tears,
But
which
you know
I
what?
thought was also impressive.
The rest of it was good. I like the part where Dina comes in or whoever it was, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm crying. Better stop that." I like
Isn't
that
it?
bit.
Oh yeah, that was also cool. What a hashtag relatable moment. You better not cry in front of somebody else, EliteAri. That'll make you weak. Now, remember crying? Crying is so cool, EliteAri. You know when you get the cry where it like hurts your throat and it's like it just keeps going.
No.
Wait,
what?
This is so true. You're like sniffling and it like and you're like trying to stop it and it like hurts in your throat. Everybody else knows
Jesus
what we're
Christ.
talking about here. I don't know if
Maybe.
hurts. It like gets congested. I don't even know if that's the right word. But it's like wow. Haven't cried like that since I was like 11 years old or something. That's crazy.
True.
Where were we up to? She also seemingly finds like an old room that used to be hers, which is not the case in the game because obviously, EliteAri, you know this, because when we first see Ellie and Jackson, like a few weeks maybe after they get back from the end of the first game, at the very beginning of the second game, she's already living in the shed. Whereas Joel had mentioned in the previous episode that he should have never let her move out into the shed. So in the show, she lived with Joel in the house for a little while and then moved to the shed because she wanted more independence or because she was mad at him, whatever. Whereas they were always different in the game. But it's sort of cute. This is sort of a scene. I guess I've never really had this moment in life because I'm still in the room that I grew up in, EliteAri. But this is definitely a scene in movies where they walk back into the house in the room they grew up in. They're like, man, what a melancholic feeling. And then they walk away. It's also very much a father-daughter thing. And there is like later on the tombstone for Joel, it says loving brother and father. It's like, oh, is this about Ellie or isn't this about Ellie? Because, he was a father, but not really to Ellie, but then kind of was to Ellie. Oh my goodness, the ambiguity here. Well, not ambiguity, but the room for insecurity here is crazy. Feelings and stuff, conflicting stuff. She looks a little older. I already said that. The box, the crying is good. Oh, I always think about this. Joel's house is like super clean and tidy in the game. And I think it's sort of like a little characterizing thing for him. And it was kind of clean in the show too, but it's like, oh, Joel like takes care of stuff, and he's like carving shit, and he has his dumb paintings up, and it's like, oh, Joel's like, he's like he might be a murderer guy, but he's like an artistic guy, EliteAri. There's more to this Joel. What a fascinating young man. And then I have moving into the Dina part. Anything to say about this part first?
Don't think so.
Oh my goodness, EliteAri's got nothing to say. Dina scene is good. I did think this, and I was like, because, I don't know, this Dina propaganda we've been seeing, EliteAri. Everybody says the great Dina, the best thing in this show. I might have said it. It might have been our first thumbnail. I might agree with it. But then I'm like, that was just because she was being wacky and funny. And this actress is very good at wacky and funny. But then she was serious here, EliteAri, and she was still really good. Can you believe it? Total package, huh?
Yep, I can believe it.
Favorite character in the show, EliteAri?
Oh God, I do like the religious guy, the whatever he was, the old guy. That was cool.
Oh, I expected you to hate that scene, so that's interesting. We'll get to it.
Hey, I said character, not scene. I got it. Yeah.
Are you talking about the Scar, or are you talking about the guy that says he isn't religious in the council meeting?
Oh wait, no, wait a minute. I'm talking about the guy who is like in the old man with the leg who got friendly fire. That guy.
Seth. Oh.
I don't know his name. Yeah, Seth.
Well, that wasn't either of the options, EliteAri, so you're an idiot.
Yeah, it was cool. I think it's my favorite.
But you did hate the Scar scene, right?
Probably second. With the little kid?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that. That was great. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I liked it too, but you're always like, this is like a dog moment, I feel like, for EliteAri, where he'd be like, this is trash. Just this dumb little girl that's obviously going to die, so we can feel good for it. I mean, bad.
You just don't understand my dog take. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you just don't like it because dogs are cute.
No, that's not true. I don't like it because dogs aren't humans. They don't have the same thoughts we do. But yeah, okay, whatever.
Neither do children. Anyway.
Okay.
Children are not human. Anyway.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, we get to abuse them. Smacking them, EliteAri. You ever get smacked?
I don't remember.
My mother smacked me the other day. Can you believe it? Anyway. What are we up to here? I loved him too, Dina. I have written down. This is crazy. Yes, Dina was really good. There was funny things with the cookie stuff. Everything she says and how she's written is so good. It feels so like real and like, oh, this is how you would go about like apologizing. Now this, first of all, what I just said was not correct. So, a generic scene is like, I bought you a gift so you won't be mad. Like, but the way they did it different here, EliteAri. So it wasn't generic. You agree, right?
The thought generic didn't cross my mind, so I'm not sure. I guess it wasn't generic. I don't know.
You're a stupid idiot. But yes, you were supposed to challenge me, and then I was supposed to concede that I would have to rewatch the scene to give the proper details here. So anyway, you could have won there, but you just gave up. So
the cookies look gross.
They did,
cool,
didn't they?
Live in a weird like.
And I was like, there's no way you want to eat after you just cried like that. Crazy. Your throat's still sore.
Yeah, but cookies are really good.
Cookies are okay. Ellie getting mad at Dina is interesting. Oh, yes, she did get mad initially, which I don't think you ever see in the game. I don't think there's a single moment. Oh, I guess Ellie has the outburst where she kind of tells Dina she's like a burden after she like vomits and tells her she's pregnant. She's like, but that's like an understated moment, and she realizes she just said something mean and she like runs away. Anyway, but yes, Bella Ramsey's Ellie is definitely quicker to be verbally angry. That video game EliteAri, her anger will last a lifetime. She'll just keep trying to kill you. So you got to watch out for that one. But the quiet killers, they're the ones you got to watch out for, EliteAri. That's why I'll never be crazy like the crazy things I say, EliteAri, right? Because I'm just so out in the open with it. You're a little weirdo. You're actually gonna tell somebody to kill themselves one day, or think somebody's retarded. Anyway.
Yep.
Ooh-wee. Where are we up to here? Cookie Shrug was great. EliteAri, the right. This I even have because I even go into this here. My next note is God. There are some flashes of brilliance in this show, and then it's immediately followed up with maybe the worst part of the whole episode. Oh, what a television program this is! What an 8 out of 10, EliteAri. I'm curious if you agree about the worst part. I feel like you have to. So she gives her the cookie. Let me see if I can remember the setup to the scene.
Wait, who gives who?
Dina, something, doesn't matter. The conversation is about, basically, we're getting around them verbally, where Ellie says, the cookies are good though. Where it's like, I think Dina looks at Ellie after she's bitten them. There's been some silence. She raises her eyebrows, and then Ellie, like, shrugs. Which the implication is, yeah, like, the cookies are good. But that would be the most generic scene of all time. She said, cookies were good, though. So they avoided having that. But also, it's just a generic thing to say that I would cringe at if somebody said in a real life. And Neil Druckmann just understands me, EliteAri, and that's how I would write the scene. And, that's so good,
Yeah, did he write this one?
Nope, Craig Mazin did. But, he was probably sitting over his shoulder or something. The great Craig, maybe he understands me just as well. Neil's rubbed off on him, okay? Hallie Gross did it all.
Or maybe it was the great Doctor Who director, maybe.
No, that guy's a fucking moron. He did Doctor Who, and that show's about investigating murders in 18th century England with his friend Watson. Now, so that was genius, EliteAri. I love that little... It's such a cute way to write a thing. Oh, I have a Black Sails reference later, EliteAri. I'm so excited. Oh, it's so great. Anyway. It's just a scene reminded me of why a Black Sail scene is good. It's not that big. But the worst part of this whole episode, maybe, EliteAri, is when Dina's going through all the names, and she goes through all the names, and she doesn't know which one's Nora and which one's Mel. I don't think she even knows the name Mel, which is pretty funny because that's what you did last week. These girls, they definitely don't look the same, but they're all the same, But then she's like, and she gets to the last one, and then she says, the braid? And then Dina goes, Abby. And then Ellie says menacingly to herself, Abby. Worst thing I've ever seen in my fucking life, EliteAri. It was terrible. It was so corny.
It was fine. I did have a little bit of like, oh, we're doing the thing where like the important names of the but it was fine.
No, not even that. It was that Ellie repeated it to herself like she was an anime character. Like that is the name in which I will enact my vengeance upon thee. It was like, oh my goodness, kill yourself. But also, later, when she's doing the boxing, and it pans over and there's the wolf drawing on the wall, and it's like, she remembers all the pain they gave her, and that's why she's boxing.
I didn't even remember that.
There's another really dumb anime moment. I was like, oh, this is a little fucking cringe.
Wait, so you can correct me here, because I don't remember. It doesn't actually stand for wolf, right? It stands for like some liberation.
Washington Liberation Front, which is WLF, which sounds like wolf, EliteAri.
Yeah.
Put the pieces together.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, another thing I didn't like is she brings up that Dina has somehow heard of the WLF before because Eugene brought it up one time because when he was a Firefly. The implication is that the Fireflies would like reach out to all these resistance groups. I hate this. I don't like it.
Why?
Because in The Last of Us Part 2, EliteAri, you gotta understand. All these different settlements are all like independent, Nobody's ever heard of the Rattlers in Santa Barbara who have slavers and shit like that. They just have their little area down there. And up in Seattle, the Wolves just have their little area there. We don't even know that Fedra's not there anymore if we're just living in Jackson, Wyoming, because we all have our little independent kingdoms going on, and nobody interferes with each other until they do. And then that makes a crazy little plot.
Like The Walking Dead.
I don't know anything about silly Walking Dead. In fact, I watched the whole first season, I think. But that was like 10 years ago. And that shit was lame, on God. No, it was actually okay.
Yeah, it's the exact same in The Walking Dead, I think. It's like little different kingdoms. And you like run into them and it's like, oh my God, now we're going in this place and we're going to like take down these people. And like, wait, did you only watch season 1?
I think I didn't watch the last episode of season 1. They got to a hospital and then they said, we don't know where it came from. And I was like, well, that's lame.
True.
Yeah. But I know that
Okay.
season 2 is the farm season because I watched a YMS video about why The Walking Dead sucks, and it was about the first 2 seasons. And then there's a lady who walks around with them on chains, and then there's that guy that beats that Asian guy to death over the head, and the other guy, the ginger guy too, when you thought it was just going to be one guy, but it was actually 2. That guy was Negan, he was pretty cool, and then he becomes a good guy. And then there's also a guy named Jesus, and there's like a autistic fat man that makes bullets for Negan. I actually watched the normies react to like season 7, so I know a lot about that stuff. I don't even know if that's the right number. But anyway, there's also a prison guy or something. Anyway.
Okay.
I know everything about everything in pop culture from osmosis of watching YouTube videos, Leary. Watch Mojo Top 10s. Now, I hate this. She doesn't know about the WLF. Nobody knows about each other. Fuck me. What are we doing here? Seems a little weird.
Weren't the Fireflies like spread apart in different locations?
Yeah, but the Fireflies didn't actually exist. It was just Marlene dicking around, and then she pretended she had friends elsewhere. We never see them. They never do anything. They're always dying. They're incompetent. And also, everything in the first game has been retconned because it's so fucking stupid compared to the great part 2. Dumb fucking raiders everywhere doing nothing. How about you live in a stadium, you stupid fucks? Oh my goodness, Leo, can you believe it? Got to admit, that stadium was pretty cool.
You got to remind me, what's the time difference between, or year difference between 1 and 2? How much of a skip is
4
that?
years.
4 years, okay.
Yeah, that shuts down your counter argument, doesn't it, stupid? Now. Oh, my next note is about the timeline. It says, seems a little weird timeline-wise. Oh, yeah, for like, because the WLF in my brain have only been around for like 5 years, maybe, but I don't know. There's probably a definitive date in the notes because you find notes in one of the Ellie days about like how Isaac takes over, and it's probably dated, so it might be longer than that. But they fuck around with the dates all the time in the show. The pandemic happened 10 years earlier. Can you believe it? And that song didn't come out, and that's why we didn't sing it, remember? Oh, and it would be weird timelines-wise, because when did Eugene die, and he knows about the WLF already? I don't know, EliteAri. I don't know about any of this. And I don't like that Eugene is like this classic guy that knew everything. It's stupid. Anyway. I don't like that every resistance group is related. I already said that, you moron. Small enough for us to handle. Oh, yes. I thought they were being clever about this, but the end of the episode ruined it. Where they are doing... Because in the video game, EliteAri, you're going through an Ellie story, and you're slowly finding out that, oh, fuck. Maybe this isn't just a group of, like, 18 people we're tracking, like David's group or something from the first game. And then you start to realize, holy fuck, this might be a whole fucking army over here. And what is Ellie doing? She can't take these people out. This is crazy. And she's lucky they're all held up in the little aquarium where she can run in and run out and then run away. But she doesn't quite get away. The great Abby tracks her down, kills her friends and family. And then bashes her girlfriend's brains in EliteAri. It was crazy. You thought she was going to die, but she didn't.
She broke her arm.
I think she did. Oh, she did too, EliteAri. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was crazy. Don't break Dina's fucking arm, you dumb bitch, is what I was saying to that dumb Abby. Still wanted her to die. Oh, and they say it a few times where it's like, oh, they're sort of playing up this idea because in a video game you can have like 7 hours where you're running through shit, slowly figuring this out and thinking about it, and they never really tell you this, but you're like, man, this group's getting a little big. This city's a little... They got radios and stuff, and we're cluing into the radios and stuff, and we're just going to replace that with them saying a few times, oh, this is probably a small enough group. There was only 5 of them here. We even made it smaller in the show. But then they ruined it by at the end of the show, having the end of this episode, having the reveal that the fucking... First of all, we got way too many guys. And they're all in... We got 17 tanks here, and Ellie and Ordina, just the odds are against them. Lame. We need to think we're impenetrable. We can take on the world, just like you're fueled with righteous vengeance. We can take anybody out. But, we're not allowing that. But I guess they don't know that yet. We'll just go through it. That I just have saying the implied thing out loud. So that was that Dina scene, and now we're going to Tommy, unless EliteAri has something to say about that scene.
Nope.
Well, EliteAri, this sure is the Kyle Entertainment show over here. Going to tell Tommy. Joel would be halfway there. Oh, this is the Black Sails moment, EliteAri. Get excited. So remember how I always say that I really like that one horny gold scene where he says, where Eleanor is ranting and raving in season 1. She's like, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and she's got all the captains around and she's laying down and this is how we're gonna do this. And there's like a not a parade, not a resistance, but something in between, like a not a revolution quite. What are those things called when you march in the streets?
I don't know what you're saying.
What? You march
demonstration?
Protest, EliteAri. You get your fucking words straight. There's a protest going on outside. Some retarded guy standing on a milk carton, except milk cartons don't exist because this is the 1600s. And he's saying, that Eleanor bitch, she steals our stuff. She doesn't give us enough money. Let's kill her and rape her and all this stuff. And they're inside trying to figure it out because she's with all the power players. And she says, and at some point somebody questions, what are we going to do about the idiot outside riling the people up? And she's like, I don't give a fuck what some bum has to say about me. I'm the great Eleanor. And you're nodding along. You're like, yes, what a smart girl. Let's get through this. Let's get around this dumb plot because let's go do the real plot. And Horny Gold pipes up as he is the man with the most respect at this table at this meeting. And he says, I care what he has to say. I'm listening to him or something. And it's the greatest line delivery of all time. And I'm like, oh, this is such a great scene because you're like expecting and you're so on Eleanor's side. And then it's like completely goes the other way where it's like the show is very much on the other side. But now you want to be on the other side because it was so cool how he just said that and you respect that guy.
Yeah.
So this happens here with the Tommy scene where where Ellie nearly says the line from the game. In the game, it's like Ellie says, like, if it was either of us, Joe would already be halfway to Seattle right now. Or something. And this is when Ellie's mad that they've like gone half a day without going after them. So that's crazy. But in this, it's completely subverted. And then Tommy like says, no, Joel would just abandon a person that got killed. And also don't talk to me like I don't know my own brother. And that was like crazy, EliteAri. I was like, this is an incredible line. Now, I thought Tommy was lying here, and he was like, oh, he's already made up his mind after they initially told him that he's going to go off on his own ahead of them, like he does in the game, which he doesn't do in the show. So Tommy was just being genuine here. And there even is later. This is like Joel character assassination, which is very funny because we were mad about that when part 2 came out, but we're not so mad now, I don't think. Where later he's like stressing to the therapist girl about how he doesn't want Ellie to end up like Joel and like Joel was like a bad thing and stuff like that. Very interesting stuff. Anything to say about any of that? Line delivery was so good.
No, not really. Yeah, I was invested. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that is your brother. I liked it. It convinced me. I don't know.
It also sort of plays into the pulling rank thing of like, is Ellie really family? Like, Tommy.
I'll be honest. I've never once questioned this in my life. I know you bring it up every now and then. It's like, oh, is that really her dad? Or I've never once. Like,
I do think it is. It's a relatively smaller thing, especially in the game. I feel like they are playing it into a little bit here. They did only know each other for like 5 years, and if if you're like comparing traumas, and it's like, well, Abby grew up with her dad for 17 years or whatever, or no, I think she's the same age as Ellie about, so 14 years, but it was a real father-daughter relationship. Who gets to be more angry? Obviously that's a silly way to look at things, but sometimes you just want to be a little petty. Especially when you're trying to kill people out of vengeance. That's very petty. Or is it? Seth has something to say about that. But yeah, I don't know. It did feel like, well, he's my brother. Don't fucking... He doesn't say anything directly, but it's also like a, I know Joel better than you, bitch, type line. Though he hugs her and he loves her and everything. Though does he? Because he has something to say in the therapist scene kind of about it. It's very interesting. He was my brother. No, he wouldn't. Tommy lying, question mark. The grave is outside of town. This is a difference. They have a graveyard inside of Jackson in the game. Now, obviously, in the game, 1 million people didn't just die because there was a fucking horde infestation or whatever. So they kind of practically had to take the bodies outside, which is interesting. Anyway, that's a silly detail. Also, like, the post-Joel stuff starts with Ellie at the grave, whereas it sort of wraps up the post-Joel stuff here before we go into the next journey. It's kind of interesting. Dina is waiting for her on the edge when she's in both scenes, so there's still pretty similar. Anything to say about Tommy before we move to Scar, EliteAri, the great Lion King character?
Nope.
Scars, EliteAri. We hard cut to the back of a scar with the logo and the scars on the face. Now, Scar's a slur, EliteAri, kinda. What are the real names? Go ahead.
Lev?
Seraphites,
Scar or
EliteAri,
something?
Seraphites,
Oh, okay.
of course.
Yep,
They
yep.
whistle at each other, EliteAri, which we sort of introduced here. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
You ever been in the grass scared and it's all dark and, you know, they're coming to get you and you're low on ammo and you hear the whistling and you're trying to figure out if they know where you are and then suddenly you get fucking arrowed in the leg and you gotta run backwards? No, you ain't played this fucking video game, EliteAri. You don't know how scary the scars can be. Remember when you fall out of a building into the Seattle currents where it's flooded everywhere and you push down and you go through like the sewers and stuff and you come out and you're in like the bottom of a train station. You get out of the train station, you walk outside and suddenly you're in like a creepy woods in the middle of the city and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you hear the whistle for the first time. You're like, who the fuck is whistling around here? And then the arrow swings past your head and you hide. Oh, the introduction to the scars is so cool in the video game, EliteAri. Very, very different because the scars are very scary and very crazy in the video game. And the introduction here is of a nice man who doesn't seem to believe the religious stuff that much, though he does, but like he's very practical and he's got a little girl here that he's best friends with and that he's going to protect, and he's got an old lady in the back and they're just a little trooper guys walking through the woods, and you know they're very lovable and the wolves are going to kill them later, so we hate them even more. So that's a very different introduction, EliteAri.
Yeah, I like them.
They did come off very likable, which was certainly a choice. Also, I don't think we ever see scars talk to each other in the game that aren't Lev and Yara. We don't even see the mother, because the mother, Lev accidentally...
Who the hell is Yara?
Lev's sister, you idiot.
I don't remember the sister at all, but okay.
Remember when the whole second day of Abby is going back to the hospital to get stuff to amputate the sister's arm?
Whoa, I thought that was Lev's arm. Okay, you know what? I don't remember anything. Okay.
No, Lev uses a bow and arrow with 2 arms.
Okay, very cool.
Yara's the one whose arm gets squashed with the hammer. Remember that? That was pretty epic.
I remember that. Jesus.
But you thought that was Lev.
You know, they're not going to do that in this show. If they didn't do the Joel thing properly, there's no way they're going to do that.
But the Joel thing was even scarier in the show, remember?
No, it was like way tamer.
They have to do it. It's from a trailer. They love shouting out the trailers a lot in this, so... They've seen my video. They were refreshed on why all that stuff's important. They're one of the 500 people, EliteAri. It was great. Neil and his friends.
Maybe. It's possible. It's like how Mr. Beast was one of the 30 people who watched my Mr. Beast games review, okay? I'm sure he was.
I was one of them, EliteAri. I can't believe I sat through that fucking nonsense. Anyway. EliteAri was mad that they weren't playing the game good enough. That's all I remember.
Yep.
Now... you should be more impressed that I remember that detail, not just a yeah. Anyway. Oh, yes, and they start hiding because they think... and it's like that Lord of the Rings scene, EliteAri, where they're hiding from the crazy, evil, demonic guy.
That is very true. Yeah.
They're hiding behind a little tree trunk.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not even like a Lord of the Rings fan.
The wolves are that evil, EliteAri. Now, the only good piece of implication here is obviously they find the bodies later and Dina vomits. Ooh, that's important. Because she's pregnant, EliteAri.
Smell was bad.
Huh?
Oh, wow.
Oh, you think
smell
that's
was
bad?
really bad. I'd vomit too.
Oh, no, it's because she saw the dead kid and she was traumatized, idiot. She just lied and said it was the smell. Anyway, and the implication is like Abby's group did this and it's crazy. Obviously, Abby didn't do it. But it's also when they first crossed the thing, like when they first got on the same trailer, I was like, oh, we're going to tie this in. And they were hiding from Ellie and Dina, and maybe they're going to get into a fight or something. And then Dina and Ellie might have to kill this kid. And I thought that was going to be really interesting, but no, they were just dead. I don't know. Could have been cool. I love killing kids, especially when they're cool main characters. Shout out Guts. Anybody else kill a kid?
It is good when, like...
Rudius got that chicken killed. Remember that? That was a kid. Rudius.
Huh?
Rudius killed that chicken.
A chicken?
That snake killed that chicken guy.
Oh, yeah, sure. That is true.
I remember that great snake.
Yeah.
That was a cool... and then that Rugid guy did a cool attack. Yeah, and then he killed that snake. What were you saying?
I was saying it's just great when a show actually kills kids, because a lot of shows are just like, well, you know, the kids, they're sacred. We can't kill
I thought EliteAri was going to hate
bodies of kids. We can't do that.
This is great.
It's fine.
She was a very cute kid.
I like the kid and the dad or whatever. I don't know if it's the actual dad or whatever, you know, just like Joel or whatever. But I was like, oh, I'm invested. And then they died. And it was sad. You know. He was
just trying to get distance between the child and the war, but the war caught them. Can you believe it?
Yeah. And then there was the scene where it's like they said something. Or he like said something that like obviously invoked some religious speech, and they were like, "Amen, amen, amen," or like they said the same thing as him. And I'm like,
that was cute. May she guide us or something is what they say. I think.
Yeah.
The Oh, I was making a point about Guts, but then is a thingy. It wasn't actually about Guts killing kids, making Ellie kill kids.
It's about the great Rudius Greyer out.
Oh, Ellie nearly kills Lev at the end. Lev's a kid. Can you believe that? Can you believe? Oh, when Ellie puts the knife to, and you're like, get away from my Lev, and that's when you realize, oh no, well, we're not on Ellie's side anymore. That's crazy. Now, there was a point here, EliteAri. What was it? Demons and wolves.
Pregnancy.
They do. No, it wasn't even that. Cute kid hiding from demons and wolves because they call them demons, which is cute. That's the zombies, but then it's actually wolves. Not much context there. It does sort of come out of nowhere. I definitely did think that, but it's obviously set up for later, which is okay. There was going to be a point about scars or something, EliteAri. I guess we'll just move on and we'll never remember it. Then we go back to Ellie boxing EliteAri with the picture of the wolf on the wall. You didn't remember it. You're embarrassing. Switching her and Abby's fighting styles. Oh, this is something one of the people who I watch review this brought this up at some point. But that was kind of an interesting point. I was like, because Ellie is probably the bigger one and is like using all these fighting techniques. So it'll be interesting if like the way Abby fights eventually is like making traps and like running away and doing all these like small girl things.
So you think Ellie's the bigger one than Abby?
Well, yeah, probably. She's definitely thicker.
Really? I don't know. I didn't even think about that.
She's maybe a bit taller too.
Obviously, I don't think we've seen them like stand up next to each other or anything yet. I feel like they're probably just gonna be like the same size. I don't know. But maybe. I guess we'll see.
Well, I don't think when we've. Because, just when they were like, had any physical contact, Abby would just beat the fuck out of Ellie, you know? But Ellie would run away and then put a little trap down and then run away, you know? And then you'd walk into it. You had to play as Abby in that little sequence. You just want to get your hands on this dumb Ellie. And then she fights. They obviously fight at the end when Abby's been, in the power scaling rankings. She hasn't eaten and she was strung up and crucified. And she got skinny EliteAri. And they cut her hair off. That's the source of her power.
Is she going to be even skinnier? Like, what?
Oh, that could be.
It's going to be interesting.
Maybe they'll cut her leg off or something.
Maybe.
We don't have to worry about the slavers yet, EliteAri. Calm down.
Man, there's a lot of good stuff toward the end of this game that I'm just remembering.
Yes, it's the greatest of all time, EliteAri. Can you believe it? And, Colin Moriarty says that that you should have cut that whole last bit and put it in the third game. What an idiot. Anyway. That was making me mad this weekend. So, fighting styles, WLF poster on the wall. That was very cringe. Jesse is on the council now, which I guess was cute. Arguments at the council. We're up to this scene now. One bloke is yapping on about corn. The next girl has a kid and she has to get rid of the kid, which is really cool. And the dad takes the kid outside and then she says, it's a little risky, guys. I don't think we should do this. And then there's another guy that has a speech about forgiveness that we all think is really gay and lame. And not the point of the fucking video game. And then the great Seth stands up and says, we should kill all of these fucking minorities, outsiders. And then Ellie stands up and has a pre-rehearsed speech that's like a lying, trying to be convincing speech, which is very cute. And the way it's acted, I thought was really good because she mimicked like an awkward speech reading style of speaking that I thought was really cool. I thought all of this was pretty good. Obviously, the forgiveness thing is very thematically appropriate, especially for this point when you don't want to hear it at all. Which is kind of the point of the revenge stuff in the game, even though I don't think that's too large in scale for the overall point of the game. Obviously,
Critical disagrees.
Who disagrees?
Moist Critical, who made a video about the Joel Death episode, by the way. I don't remember what he said, but I think he said it was like better or something. I think he said it was like mixed or
the Moist Critical. What a brain on that fella. Now,
I mean, he is the one leading the charge in my media space, at least, of like the biggest Last of Us 2 hater that I know.
See, I didn't even know he hated it until I think I made my video like last year. So, I do remember Pokimane hating it and Tyler1 hating it and XQC hating it because I saw all their clips because I think I was checking LSF while it was happening. I think that was probably how I got spoiled that you would play as Abby at some point. I don't remember. Anyway, what was I saying, EliteAri? The script reading, the corn, the forgiveness stuff. I was going to make a point about revenge or something. I think the point is that everybody understands that like revenge is wrong, like logically, but obviously emotionally they don't want to hear it. And that's sort of definitely the position you're in this. or in the game.
Replace the word revenge with justice.
Yes, that's also another thing. That's a very. Remember when Pedro Pascal, the great Joel, did that in Game of Thrones as the mountain? Not the mountain. What was that guy's name? Oberyn Martell. He wanted justice, but he just wanted vengeance. What a liar.
Yep.
The Corden guy was funny, EliteAri.
Yeah.
They said,
that
shut
very
up.
much felt like a Black Sails thing as well.
Yeah, kinda. I can see what you mean by that.
Yep.
So Seth stands up, and so initially, I guess we can talk about all the Seth stuff now. I was like, oh, he's like trying to get them to go, so like Ellie will get killed on the journey or something. I was like, this is like some Machiavellian retarded plan or something.
Goodness.
And because even afterwards, when like the vote is no or something, or he's like smiling. So I was like, did he stand up because everybody hates him and he's advocating for a thing very stupidly and he knows it? So that means everybody's going to be against it and they're all going to vote no and he's happy and therefore Ellie can't go. But then he helps them leave, which could just be a Machiavellian like, oh, they're going to die because they're on their own. What a bunch of dumb bitches. But like, I think we're just redeeming Seth a little bit here.
I don't know about redeeming. He's like causing this whole issue.
Redeeming him in like Ellie's eyes, which is interesting. Ellie and Dina's eyes.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I guess Seth again.
Hands.
Yes, Ellie and Seth is only in like the 2 scenes in the game, and he's just like a bigot. That's like his defining characteristic, I guess. Oh, I was building up to EliteAri. I'm all over the place here, you know. The scripted, the thing in my hands isn't helping this week.
Machiavellian.
Yes. I have another point where it was like, oh.
He's an old man. Do you know who he looks like to me?
Who?
Norm Finkelstein. I don't know why. I just see it immediately. When I see him, I'm like, oh,
old white hair.
But maybe not.
Also, he was limping, and I was like, is that because Joel pushed him over so hard? But no, he got shot in the leg, apparently.
True.
Maybe. Which is very funny.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe it's a cover. I'll be embarrassed. Oh, my God.
Oh, I guess what I was going to say is, like, true, it's all fake because he's a Machiavellian guy.
Yep.
Oh, no, I lost it making a joke later. I was about Joel. Oh, so sort of, he's clearly, like, a crazy, like, dumb guy. And this is obviously, like, his bigotry is proof of that. And his speech here about how they're going to come back for us when they have no intention of coming back at all. And, like, all this stuff and stuff like that is obviously bad. But because we find ourselves, it's like a core themes and changing context. Like, we're indulging in the badness now, thinking it's kind of cool that he's on our side. When in the end, thematically, this is bad and only leads to bad outcomes for all involved.
Yep.
So I guess that was my point. There was there's a cute moment also here, and this is a very game thing where Dina like notices that Ellie is trying by like scripting a thing, which first of all I had the little note in my head. I was like, she really didn't check with Ellie of what she was gonna say, but whatever, we'll forgive that. Where it was like she has like a thing. I think it might just be an eyebrow raise again, but she's like impressed, and it seems like Dina in the game, this is all in the Take On Me scene, EliteAri. That's when they're singing, when Ellie's singing to her with the guitar, you remember. Like, there's a lot of that scene, like, there's a focus on, like, sort of Dina looking at Ellie, then looking to the ground, and it's like, oh, she's in love with her. You can kind of see it on her face. She's, like, impressed. She, like, likes that Ellie is, like, kind of crazy and very passionate and, like, is also like musically talented, and they're like awkwardly not looking at each other as she's singing, and it's very cute. This is like a moment in the vein of that, I think, where she was like impressed that Ellie is like writing things down, and it's sort of like one of the things she likes about her, which is obviously a big thing. I feel like as I talk about this a lot, where I was like, Ellie's kind of feels like she's written as sort of a guy, a little bit, and sort of like, I guess there would always have to be one person in a lesbian relationship that's more this type of, but the mindset is like, why does this girl like me at all? And you can never figure it out. And if you ever ask her directly, she's not going to answer it, because who's ever going to answer that question? And so you just got to think about it. And it feels like these are like little moments of inklings of why, of like, oh, they like passion. And she likes Ellie for her artistic side. But she also likes Ellie because she's like kind of crazy and stuff like that. So it's all these little cute little moments. And it's very, in the game, it feels, because it feels like characterization on both sides, whereas in here it's kind of just Dina.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like the shot, like in my head, I can see the shot of like Dina looking to the side, sort of like zoning out as she's listening to it. And it's sort of like, I don't know. It feels like she's realizing she's in love with her in that moment. It's very cute. And then there's also, I think the next shot is you cut back to Ellie singing, and she's not really looking at Dina. She's like looking away because she's obviously embarrassed because she's singing. It's like a very vulnerable moment. And so it feels like from one end, this was happening in this scene from Dina. But not really. It was just like she's impressed with her type thing. It's like a much smaller scale. Also, in the preview, the singing scene is next episode of EliteAri. Get ready. It's going to be where they first have sex, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
Because they cut it. Well, they kind of... We can talk about it when we get to the greatest scene of the episode of EliteAri. Good awkward scripted reading, bunch of nonsense. Dina impressed. Maria says execute. That was crazy, Ellery. She's like, so 16 people go and execute Abby and the gang. And it's like, oh, this seems so official and wrong. We shouldn't be... Executions are immoral, I think. I don't like this.
Well,
Maria...
there are means of justice.
Yes,
okay,
justice. Justice. But Maria definitely voted no, so we know how she feels about that.
Wait, really? Who were the three then? I assumed it was her.
I don't know. Maybe she voted yes.
True, or maybe a random person. I assume Jesse, Tommy, and then...
I bet Jesse probably voted no. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because Jesse definitely thinks this is a bad idea, but he's going to go and help him anyway. I almost think Tommy voted no. I'm like, these three of these guys are like no's from the... Well, also at this point, I was like, Tommy's voting no because he's already gone. But apparently he's still here, so I don't know. And it also sucks because we don't get the really cool Maria moment where she like breaks her facade of like being in charge and has a selfish moment where she's like, "Go get my dumbass husband back here, man." That's such a good scene, Ellery. You know, they're sitting at the table. They kind of did that scene, I guess. They were sitting at the table earlier, and it's even in Joel's house. But Maria wasn't there to say, "Tommy already left. You fucking dumb bitches. You're killing my husband here." And you better go save him. He's an idiot. And we like, Tommy is an idiot. But in the show, he's the most competent guy of all time. So he killed a bloater.
So what you're telling me is, that in the game, their motivation for leaving is just like completely different?
I mean, fundamentally, it's not very different. Well, Tommy's is, I guess, because Tommy's going to go and save the girls, I guess.
Tommy, forget Tommy. I mean, like, so in the game, they leave because they're like, oh, we need to, like, our surface level reason is we need to go get Tommy.
No. That's why Maria lets them leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand. Okay. I like that more, but you know what? That's okay.
Because initially...
This show was fine. I didn't know any better until you informed me now, and now I'm like, oh no, it was better in the game, but that's okay.
Well, no, I think the show is fine. Was I complaining about the show?
Yeah, I think the show is fine. I
was saying it's sad because we don't get the cool Maria moment, I guess, but yeah, whatever. It is very weird. I guess maybe Tommy and Jesse, maybe they go together.
That's what I assumed, because I know Jesse shows up, obviously, at some point. And I was like, oh, I guess they go together. But I don't remember how they do it in the game.
No, in the game, Tommy leaves first, and because when you're going through Seattle initially, you find, like, the bodies in Tommy's wake. And then you hear, like, reports of people being on the Wolf radio of, like, there's this one fucking guy, he's killing every one of our fucking guys. What the fuck is going on? We're trying to invade an island over here. And it's just, like, Tommy going on a one-man wrecking crew. And he kills Manny, but Abby nearly gets him. But then Abby nearly gets him again. And then Abby ruins his life. Yep. That dumb bitch, Abby. I hate her. But yeah, and then Jesse comes completely separately after that because he shows up like the second day, I think, just to save Ellie. And because he's in love with Dina still. And then he finds out that she's pregnant. And then fucking that bitch Abby kills him. Can you believe it? Anyway. They should have all been friends. Everybody votes no. Oh, there was a cute little moment where everybody got up, and I was like, oh, this feels like assembly at school, where like the big important thing happens, and then everybody just gets up and like does a weird stretch, and it like looks stupid. I don't know. I thought that was cute. What a funny little detail. And we just got the first battery warning. Can you believe it? We only got a page and a half of notes to go, EliteAri. Tommy and therapist. Some of the line delivery here was good. So, I hated this dumb therapist girl. I thought she sucked, EliteAri, but now she's my favorite. So, complete fucking disaster is what she describes her life as. That was a great line delivery. She had a bunch of them towards the beginning. She's watching like the kids play baseball. It's like really funny. It fits like the Trainwear wreck aesthetic and all that stuff. I think it's all very cute. And then she just very bluntly says, because she's a liar. And then Tommy's like, no, she's not a liar. She just lies sometimes. But then, like, the therapist doubling down that, like, Ellie is, like, a bad person is very interesting. I like all the, like, harsh Ellie is the villain stuff. Though this Ellie is a little different than our Ellie. So, it's not bad. You know,
Mhm.
people don't really think about Ellie as the villain, but they should a bit, EliteAri, you know.
True,
Not
Abby's
just
the
this one.
hero.
Abby is a hero, goddammit. I hate that bitch.
Mhm.
She killed Jesse.
And this therapist is in her late 70s or something, because she said she was a psychotherapist for 40 years, and it's been like 20 years since the thing, and unless she's counting those years,
No,
and
she's definitely
why would
counting it
she?
all
I
as
don't-
one. She's definitely like 60.
Why? But she's not like, there's no more licensing board anymore. I guess like, wouldn't you have to like
Well,
renew it like every year?
remember
It's
in
ridiculous.
the QZ they had like license. Oh, I don't know if they were licensed, but they had
I don't
people.
remember any of this. I don't.
So they had like the radio guy and the doctor
All
guy.
right, so she can be in her 60s then. All right, whatever. That's okay.
Yes, I don't know. She's like 61. Okay.
True.
She's an alcoholic. It's pretty cool. She's a vibe, EliteAri. She's a vibe.
Yep.
Tommy wasn't going to take immediate action. True. Tommy is still not leaving. I was like, this is crazy.
Yep.
I guess a
His
big
hard
thing.
home changed him.
Huh?
Hard home changed him.
It's no. These shitty riders did, EliteAri. Now, there was a big thing, and I feel like every podcaster that I listen to would always bring this up, where they're like, man, in the game you can kind of justify it because like they're just going out, but like how are they going to justify a bunch of people leaving right after they all just got invaded and they're all going to leave the next day? That's so stupid. Tommy has to stay around now they got around that with the 3-month time jump, but then also Tommy doesn't want to go at all, and they're not licensed. They're not like saying it's okay. But Tommy is going to go, obviously. So they got around all that shit. So basically, that was like 50% of the conversations on all these shows, and it was a complete fucking waste of time. A bunch of idiots speculating about nonsense. I would never do that, EliteAri. Quit giggling. Joel was lashing out. Oh, yeah, this is where we get some Joel character assassination. He's like, Joel was just lashing out all the time. That's why he did the bad things and why he was mean to me sometimes. Now, the mean to me part is true. I don't know if the bad things to other people stuff was true. And he doesn't seem mad at all. He doesn't seem to want vengeance at all, which is very interesting. Pretty big change, I would say.
Well, he wasn't there.
That is true, but he was
feel
knocked
I know
out.
he would have blamed himself. Yeah, but he could
Yeah,
blame
he
himself.
definitely
Be like,
blames
I wish I had
himself.
done something
Yes,
differently.
he definitely
yeah.
does that, yes. And then there's sort of a nature versus nurture argument. It's like, oh, Joel didn't make her this way. She's always been this way, which is true from what we understand, like what we know about Ellie. It's interesting. It's a little bit of Ellie character analysis here. Some people can't be saved, she says, which is a very, like, obviously the joke is she's like a very, like, depressed, like, counselor who doesn't believe in much. And so that line very much fits into her, even though her job would seem to contradict that. But also she's literally working to get, like, her vices. So who knows what what's going on there. She shits on our MCs and we love her, which is very interesting. She does just spend all of her time shitting on our main characters, Joel and Ellie, and everybody loves her, which is kind of funny. But what a scene.
True. And they talked about some baseball thing I didn't know anything about, but yep.
Yes, true. It was something.
And the grass was very well maintained. So yes, go ahead, yes.
Yes, true. You gotta cut your grass. They have mowers. Dina and Ellie, this is the best part. We've only got like 10 minutes to talk about it, if that. I just realized she had to have been with Jesse while Ellie was in hospital. I thought this was going to be big drama, but then Dina just admits it later because obviously Dina has to be pregnant. But she only broke up with Jesse like a week ago in the game, so it makes sense that, like, oh, if they had sex like 6 weeks ago, she should just be showing now. But we skipped 3 months. But yeah, and that's also why they had the line in there that I didn't like a few weeks ago, a few episodes ago, the last episode maybe, or it was like, oh, they implied that Jesse and Dina was an on again, off again thing, which is not really how it is in the game. It's just like, oh, they've been dating for like 4 years and then they broke up. But they have to be on again, off again, so we can have the pregnancy stuff and the 3-month time skip. So that's cute. Maybe I'll just read all this in one breath, Alito. You won't stop, and then you'll say all of it, all right? And then you'll give all your commentary. Dina is prepared. That was really cool. She shows up and all that. And then I have my next note is she's really cool. Seth is helping them. Changing Seth is interesting because he could come back in part 3, which is true. I'm stopping, Aliro. It'll be interesting if Seth does appear in Last of Us Part 3, the game. I really don't want it to be influenced by the character he is in the show. But it might be a little bit. So that makes me a little scared. That was like, no, we're like going past the games. We're going past the books here. We're in season 6 territory. I hate this, but it's not that big of a deal. Plus, he probably wouldn't even be in a part 3, so who cares?
Wait, just a quick thing on him. I have to say, some element of why I like his character, I guess like the added element, is the physicality of him like limping and stuff. It does add to it. I don't know why. But
Empathy,
it just is.
EliteAri.
Like,
You feel
limping and
sorry
stuff.
for this young man.
No, I think it's like cool acting. It's like, oh, he's like limping and it looks real. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
I get it. The long shot of the grave looks like a western. It does look like that Jesse James movie that I want EliteAri to watch that he might like. Where it's just a beautiful long shot of like a cool little environment, and the silhouette's getting on and off a horse. I don't know. There's something like sad and cool about that. It's like cowboys.
The
or
great
something.
Doctor Who director, we love it.
Yes, I don't like. He's gonna get some great environmental shots coming up, EliteAri. Maybe I gotta watch Doctor Who now because then I next noticed traveling shots. Oh, also I have a music thing. They were playing a song from the game here, and her using the coffee beans and put it in the ground was a little weird. I don't know. That was a little on the nose. It feels like the most boomer thing ever of like, that old man likes coffee, so we're going to put coffee at his grave. I'd be like, if his defining characteristic shouldn't be that he likes coffee, but it is something that is brought up a lot in the game too, so cool.
It's fine.
Where was I up to here? Traveling shots were really great. We see none of this in the game. It is true. We don't get any of the traveling. We just cut and they're in Seattle. Rolling up, and it's been a long time, and their relationship hasn't progressed too much, but you know it's got to happen on screen. So, first one was too fucked up. Oh yeah, they're playing a game naming bands or something, and then obviously EliteAri recognized Fleetwood Mac the band and Green Day the band, etc., etc. And then Dina asks, Dina, it's funny because Dina's like being the annoying one, whereas Ellie used to be the annoying one with Joel, so that was cute. It also felt like going back to the roots because a lot of season 1 was traveling like this, and now we're sort of back to it, so that was cute. The line I just read up, the first one was fucked up, was when she asked her the first person she killed, and the first one is probably Ellie's first girlfriend, which is funny because she didn't want to bring that up because it could be traumatizing, but she also didn't want to bring it up because she's got a new girlfriend now that she doesn't want to bring up her old girlfriend too. So that was kind of a cute little double meaning line. I thought that was cute.
Oh, wow.
Dina's the annoying one. I'm just loyal like that was another thing where we're saying the subtle thing out loud where Dina's like, I can't remember what it's in response to, but it's like Dina saying that she's loyal, and like in the game it becomes increasingly apparent that she's literally just on this journey to be like with Ellie, and she doesn't really believe in it at all because she didn't love Joel and she realizes this is retarded, but she wants to help her wife through it, so that's very sweet. They're sleeping together, EliteAri. Ellie doesn't make the move. Dina makes it easy for her. The weed scene, this is sort of, we're combining the weed scene from the game into this scene because she's asking her to rate the kiss, which is a line directly from the game. They have speculation about Jesse being sad, which is interesting, and there is indeed no kiss. They were so close, didn't you just want to see them jump on each other, EliteAri?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
This Dina girl.
I like the relationship. Dina comes across as like the girl of your dreams. It was like, oh, she's actually interested in you. Like, even if you don't admit that you like her, she's gonna admit that she likes you. It's like, yeah.
And she's like making it so easy, and she's like, let's talk about that kiss we did, and like, was it pretty good? Let's joke about this kiss you're gonna kiss me with right now. But Dina, dumb Ellie, is just so fucking stupid. She just didn't kiss her. How does it even end? How do we transition out of that? I can't even remember.
They sleep. They're like bedtime.
But they do that twice, I guess. Yeah. This dumb fucking Ellie. Oh, and this is where she brings up, oh, I already went back to Jesse or something. And then there's a funny bit, but then Ellie seems like she's maybe vaguely jealous on her face, but it's all very cool. It was a great scene. We're just speeding through it now because, you know, we've got to because this shitty battery. I guess I don't see, because they also have sex after they kiss in the game in the weed place. Oh my god, it's going so low, EliteAri. So I don't know how we get from them singing to each other to the sex part. Like, how does that like, you can't just get up. I don't know. We'll see how it happens. We'll see. The singing moment is sweet. You don't do the sexy stuff right afterwards. But maybe they just don't do the sex stuff. This Dina girl, EliteAri. Now, sometimes we comment how she looks really young. My goodness. Now we're going to ignore that and then say something edgy.
Wait, have I said that?
Yes, I say that sometimes. My goodness, is this girl pretty, EliteAri? Can you believe
it? True, yeah, Dina, yeah, I agree.
You didn't even take the bait and call me a Mushoku Tensei fan. What an embarrassment. There's a line.
She looks that young. Ellie looks young to me.
I feel like they sometimes look the same age, which is sometimes 19. So, you know, I'm okay over here. How much further is a line from the video game, EliteAri? which is right, which is the line that we get right as they show up in Seattle, and here they are, kind of at Seattle. Dina vomits at the dead little girl because Dina's pregnant. She vomits a few times in the game too, and you're like, what's she vomiting for? Is she dying? They all see the dead girl, questioning if Abby and her group did this. The warning signs that they're a bigger group because they killed all these people, but don't worry because we're going to get the reveal on that in about 2 minutes because this fucking show sucks. There's a lot of them. They reference Curtis and Viper, which is the action movies a lot, and Ellie has the silly line where she's like, I was trying to sound like a badass, bro. That wasn't even from a movie, which was kind of cute. Even if the dying delivery was bad, but it was supposed to be corny. Then we pan over to Manny, and I thought we were panning over to the marina, the aquarium, where all of our favorite moments in the game take place because we pivoted to the water a little bit with the camera, but that didn't happen. But instead, it was just shitty Manny sitting on a thingy, and he's being real shitty and not cool like cool Manny from the video game. He's looking out. He's very mad. He's pissed off at everything. And then I just have it written down. Manny is a lazy bastard, which is not like him in the video game. And he says, lame way to reveal there's a lot of them. There's a little too many. Song credits. It was just a song from the game, but with a rock remix. It was a little weird, EliteAri. But anything to say about that whole ending sequence before the laptop goes flat? Do you hate it when that happens?
I liked seeing the city. It was very cool seeing him high up in a building and looking out. I was like, man, this is like so cool. It reminds me of those
City's
Walking
pretty
Dead
cool.
episodes in the city back in like season 3 or 4 or whatever. Yep. I don't know if there's much else to say about that. I do have some other random notes.
Oh, quickly, I'm on 3%.
One. Okay, I was the scariest thing ever happened in this episode. I was on the edge of my seat this whole time because I know that this horse gets blown up at some point. I know it happens soon, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna jump scare me at any moment. I was so scared whenever the horse.
It will be soon.
I was like, oh my god, it's gonna happen now. Yeah, but I don't know when it's gonna happen. It scares me. Secondly, the directing, there was like a few cool shots. One is when Ellie is like walking toward the camera in the hospital as she's leaving. I was like, man, this is like really cool. We're like holding on this for a bit, and she's like looking at her face. That was cool. There's a scene